Hi, I'm Marlo from Wild Food UK, out foraging again. It's the 3rd of April today and I'm in Herefordshire, and I'm going to introduce you now to a really interesting and edible species of plant that grows all over the country in amongst the grass. It does have a few lookalikes and I've got a few around here, but here is the young growth of Yarrow, Achillea millifolium. Apparently, Achilles used to take this plant everywhere with him to treat wounds, and I'll go into that in a bit more detail. Millifolium means 1,000 leaves. And you can see exactly why it's got that name. Now, it has a few lookalikes. Growing right beside it here, we've got our young chervil, which is slightly similar when it's very young. Then we've also got, I picked from not too far away, we've got some scentless mayweed here, member of the chamomile family, which can look quite similar, as can your chamomile and your pineapple weed. But when it goes into flower, this plant is very different. I'll drop in some photos of the flowers now. First of all, you get those flower buds that you can see there. And from a distance, when it does go into flower, it looks like it could be a member of the carrot family with an umbel flower, but there's the flowers of the plant. You can see the flowering stems come from different parts of the main stem, rather than an umbel like a carrot. Now, most of the time it's whitish, but you also get pinkish flowers, like you can see there. So it's a bit variable, and there are cultivars that have slightly different colours as well. Now, this is an edible plant, but not for everyone, and you never want to eat too much of it. So I'll have a little taste of it now. And it's got a very herby flavour, and it's reasonably succulent at this time of year. But it contains a chemical called thujone, which isn't good for you if you're pregnant. Apparently thujone can mess with your menstrual cycle or even bring on miscarriages. So if you're pregnant, don't be eating your yarrow or drinking yarrow tea. Yarrow tea is what people most often make out of this plant. For me, I think there's tastier things around. Whenever you find yarrow, there's a few other things that you can put into your salad bags. Things like, just right beside it here, we've got our cowslip flowers. There's a nice one there. First cowslips I've seen this year, hooray. Beautiful little flower. They're quite tasty, and they go better in my salads than the yarrow leaves do. But this is a medicinal plant, and that's why it's been used all over the world, from China to North America, for centuries, even potentially tens of thousands of years, because some of this plant was found in Neanderthal graves. So that's how long humanoids or hominids have been using yarrow. We know that it's good for dressing wounds. It's known as an antiseptic and an astringent as well. And apparently it's a good styptic. So it's good for stopping bleeding. Hence some of its names, staunchweed and herb militaris, I think, is one of its other names. And it was also called nosebleed as well, because apparently you'd get a load of these leaves if you had a nosebleed and use them to stop the bleeding in your nose. So it's got quite a few medicinal uses. Apparently it's been used for toothache and earache. Do your own research on that before using it yourself, please. I am not a doctor, and I would prefer you to seek scientific advice for toothache and earache rather than using yarrow. But I do know that it's an antiseptic and it's good for stopping bleeding. So being as I'm such a clumsy forager, it's a plant that I use for those reasons. I don't tend to use it as an edible, but you can if you want to. Just don't eat too much of it, and don't eat it if you're pregnant. It also is toxic for animals. So apparently it's toxic for dogs and horses. And also I've heard that if cows, because it grows in amongst grass, if cows eat too much of it, then it can make the milk taste a little bit nasty. You can make a green dye out of it as well though, so it's useful for other things. There you go. There's our yarrow, an interesting plant. It does have some lookalikes, but once you've got familiar with it, you'll recognize it. And certainly when in flower, it's very distinctive. Right, if you want to find out more, go to wildfooduk.com or come on a foraging course.